What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So it is that time again of the week where we're talking Alien Earth. Episode 5 dropped this past week, and I will say it's no secret I've been critical of this show. I haven't enjoyed the show. I have thought it's been very mid, maybe even below mid. It's just not what I expected it to be. Now, episode 5, which is called In Space No One, which that's, I mean, they didn't finish the phrase. I mean, we know what the rest of that phrase is, technically what it would be. But yeah, we're going to jump into episode 5 right now. We're not going to waste any more time. We're just going to jump right into spoilers. So spoiler alert, spoiler warning. If you haven't seen episode 5, again, it dropped roughly 3 days ago. If you haven't seen it, you might want to check out this video now because you're going to be spoiled. So we're just going to jump right into the details now. So as I was just saying, the show through 4 episodes has been mid. Not what I expected. It hasn't really explained one of the key points I was barking about for months and months and months, which is, how are you going to explain the fact that this species has made it to Earth when the movies that come after it in the timeline believe and are very openly speaking about the fact that this species has never made it to Earth, and it can't, because if it does, it will decimate humankind. Still haven't explained that 5 episodes in, and we have 3 episodes to go. This is only an 8-episode series. Now, if I look at episode 5 alone, this is what I wanted. This episode 5 has been by far my favorite episode of the 5 episodes we've gotten. So episode 5 is I don't know if it's, I guess you can call it the filler episode, so to speak, but episode 5 is a 100% flashback episode. It takes us through the events of what had led up to the beginning moments of episode 1, as to why. I'm going to be pronouncing a lot of names in this spoiler review because we find out a lot of the names of the crew. So I apologize if I mispronounce any of the names. But anyways, this episode leads us right to the point where we're finding out exactly what transpired up until we get into those first 5 to 10 minutes of episode 1, where the Magnant, if that's how you pronounce the name of the ship, crashes on Earth, right? So we know now what led up to it, what caused it, everything. So let's jump into some of these episode details now. So again, this is a flashback episode, and if the first 5 episodes would have led us down this path where we're spending a little bit more time on the ship leading up to these events, of them capturing these various species, including the eggs and all that, and then maybe the last 2 or 3 episodes. So where we would be at right now, the first 5 episodes, is them getting the species, getting all these different alien types on the ship, and we're going through all of this, and maybe episode 4 is when the ship would have crash landed on Earth, and then, or maybe it's episode 5, and then we spend the last half of this series trying to contain, trying to capture, whatever the case may be. That's what I would have loved. But we didn't get that. So episode 5, again, flashback. So we're on the ship again. I think it's pronounced the Magnant, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So we're starting 17 days before it reached Earth. So you have Clem, who is one of the, and I'm going to run through the episode real quick here. So we have Clem, who's a junior security officer. He goes to wake up Morrow. So Morrow, we know. Morrow's the one we've been kind of following throughout. Since episode 1, he's been trying to contain not just the xenomorph, but now we know he's put this little, I don't want to call it device, or whatever, on one of the AIs, I guess, is because we have cyborgs, we have AIs. So Morrow, I believe, is considered a cyborg. So he is trying to get one of the xenomorph eggs in current time. So through episode 4, he's been trying to infiltrate Prodigy's island in order to get one of the eggs, right? So he's put one of these little devices on slightly in order to talk to him, but what he doesn't realize is that their conversations are being heard by Kirsch. So we haven't seen the results of that yet, which I imagine after this flashback episode, we're going to go right back into present time. So Morrow, we get to get a little bit more background on him as far as his time before coming onto the ship. He had a daughter at one point. Now he's on this mission. And his primary objective, he makes it very clear, are the specimens. Everyone else can pretty much die on the ship, but his main objective, his main mission is to get the specimens where they need to, to their final destination. So there's been a fire on the ship. So Morrow is woken up from the cryo sleep, and when the fire takes place in one of the containment rooms. Now, at this point, 2 of the facehuggers now have escaped, and Morrow doesn't know this yet, but he comes into, I guess, like the medical bay, we'll call it, and the facehuggers have latched on to 2 people, the ship's captain and one of the science officers. Now, the ship's captain is dead, and so is the facehugger. Apparently what they tried to do was they thought, let's try to cut this thing off. So they tried cutting it off at the tail, and that's when they found out it has acid for blood, end up killing the captain. Now, the other one, the science officer, still alive, but still has the facehugger on him. Now, they decide, after some back and forth, they ultimately decide, let's put him in a cryo sleep. That should stop whatever's ultimately going to happen from happening. And we obviously know it doesn't. We obviously know the embryo gets into him, it hatches, and it breaks out from the cryo sleep chamber, so to speak. So, while this is happening, we also find out that Schmel, that's how you pronounce it, he's the engineer on the ship. The navigation systems have been damaged by the fire as well. So pretty much at this point, unless they can fix it, the ship is on a crash course to Earth. It's just a matter of how quickly it's going to get there. So now we have Executive Officer Naveri, who takes over command of the ship. But again, Morrow lets her know, hey, the priority are the creatures, not the crew. So, get your priorities straight. And it might be the cyborg part of him, or maybe not. But we later find out that that's not the case, and we'll touch on that. So throughout this flashback, we get to see some of the other specimens. 2 of the specimens we've already seen, like this Oculus. If that's what it's called, I believe that's what it's called. It's the eyeball with like the octopus type legs. And then we see these other like leech type creatures. I don't know if they've given it a name as of yet, but either way, those are the other 2 that we see, but we've seen them before. One of them, while in the science lab, and while one of the other science officers, Shimbus, again, I'm not sure of how to pronounce the name. One of the leeches manages to, it's got to be a matter of intelligence, gets out of its container, crawls up to the top, manages to get its leg through this little opening, open up the top, and get out. Now, she doesn't see this yet because she's taking the Oculus to go put it back up and lock it in it's already in its container, but lock it into like a specific compartment on the wall. But she fails to even do that. So while this leech is out, it gets to her water bottle and sprays in some like babies or something into the water bottle, which are larvae, but she doesn't realize it's in her water. So yeah, but then they realize it's loose. Someone else comes in, they see that it's loose, they get it back into the container, and then she grabs her water bottle and leaves with somebody else. I think it's Rahim or Raman, who leaves. So they leave. We get some more back and forth. That's when we're starting to see where the xenomorph has now bursted out of the person's chest. It's now loose on the ship. They're still trying to fix the ship, and Morrow is trying to investigate that someone else, someone's had to have done this. That we gotta have someone in our midst that's trying to sabotage the mission, in which we do find out that there is another person that we do find out that is supposed to be in cryo sleep, but technically is not in cryo sleep. And Tang is the one that alludes to this to Morrow. So Morrow goes back, looks at the various tapes, and finds, and he has to recover some of them because they've been deleted, and realizes who it is, and now we have to try to find him. So now they're not only trying to fight off the aliens that are getting loose in the ship, but now they have to try to fight off one of their own. And we find out that this individual is also working with Prodigy, to crash land the ship to get these specimens to them. So it was always like this plan that we hadn't. Through the first 4 episodes, it seemed like, it just crash land. Prodigy happened to get there first, and now they have them. But no, that's not the case. It was all an elaborate scheme and plan to crash the ship so Prodigy could get the specimens, to crash the ship in Prodigy territory, because the world is split up amongst the corporations. So now keep in mind the xenomorph is loose. It's now fully grown. It's loose on the ship. It starts taking people out. It killed Tang. The full grown xenomorph ends up killing Tang. And this is where we start to see all the events leading up to the first episode, where everyone's starting to get killed off. And I thought one of the scenes that we saw in the first episode is where in the medical bay we had the junior engineer on the table and 2 of the other medical people there, but we didn't know how they died. Well, the junior engineer was, they were all ate something hot, grabbed that lady's water bottle, drank it, not knowing the larvae were in there, and now they're inside of him. They eventually kill him. But once they get him on the table, they decide that the smart thing is to let's open him up. They see all these leeches now, these larvae crawling in him, sucking up his blood. They think, let's just extract them out. So when they go to do that, this larvae or this specimen has a defense mechanism to spray like this toxic air or toxic fumes out, which then kills both of them. They have to lock down the medical bay. Morrow takes over as captain of the ship because the other lady just starts losing it. She can't handle the pressure. And now we're coming towards the end of the episode where we see pretty much the events leading up to Morrow saying, "Screw all y'all! I'm locking myself in here into the computer room with Mother. I'm pretty much going to report everyone is dead. I'm going to hide in the little compartment, and we're crashing this ship." One thing I did like though was that the Oculus, again the eyeball with the octopus tentacles, took over the body of the senior engineer. And when he did that and came face to face with the xenomorph, they had like a little bit of a battle. And he jumps on top of the xenomorph on its back, starts biting its neck. Xenomorph happens to get it off of him by stabbing it with its tail. But then the Oculus gets loose, and it's just the little eyeball with the tentacles, and it attacks the xenomorph. And I think this is the first time we've seen the xenomorph getting attacked by something, and it's freaking out. It doesn't know how to approach this new attacker. It's not like a human where you can just easily attack and it's dead. It's a small little thing that's trying to get inside of the xenomorph to kill it. I mean, eventually it doesn't win. Eventually the xenomorph obviously survives because we see it then kill the replacement captain that took over as Zaveri. Again, that's how you pronounce her name. She ends up getting killed, and that's when we lead ourselves right up into the point of Morrow putting himself in this little compartment and the ship crashing. And then we get to present day. We get past all the flashback episode. Now we're at present day where Morrow has meets with Yutani, and this is where we find the gap in. We are given now a gap of time because Morrow had previously was devoted to Yutani's grandmother because the grandmother apparently had given Morrow his cyborg arm and whatnot. So Morrow had an allegiance to the grandmother, but now it's Yutani who's running the corporation, and pretty much says, he's offering to retrieve the specimens by force if necessary, and that's where we end the episode. Now, we're going to, here in a moment, we're going to watch the 30-second episode 6 trailer for the title of the episode is The Fly. That drops on September 9th. Now, I imagine now that we've ended episode 5 at present time, that we're going to pick up now back in present time for the last few episodes as far as all the AI kids, like Wendy, the brother, and all them, which for me, okay, I preferred the story and everything that was happening in episode 5. That was more my jam. I really enjoyed episode 5. For me, it's been the strongest episode thus far. I would easily give it a 4.5. For me, it felt like Aliens or Alien. It felt like that was the part of the franchise that I had always wanted to see in this series. And we got a little bit of it in episode 1, but then after that, it kind of just felt like we were just going down a path that just didn't feel like it was Alien. But I know that's just my opinion. I know many people still feel this is a cinematic series for some reason, and it's just the greatest thing to ever happen to the Alien franchise. In my opinion, it's not. So where we stand with this one, because again, episode 5, I'd give it a 4.5. I really loved it. It felt very much like Alien. A lot of, like, again, you're watching the various specimens get loose. You see them starting to go after the humans. You see the xenomorph going, being, not directly being hatched, but you know it's been hatched. It escapes. It grows full. Has a few small battles. You get to see it in all its glory. And then again, then we're brought into where episode 1 begins. So easily a 4 for me for episode 5. If there was a little bit more action, I could easily go 4.5 for this episode. But as it stands, it's a 4. Where we stand for the series, I mean, one episode for me isn't going to bring this back. Anything 3.5 or higher, I'll give it I'm still very mid 3.5. This one does bump it up a bit from a 3 to a 3.5, but I have a bad feeling that the last 3 episodes are just going to be more of potentially the AIs like Wendy and everyone else, like all the kids that have been transferred into these other bodies I think they're going to start to revolt against Prodigy, my opinion. Otherwise, where are they really going to go with this? We still haven't seen the fact of the xenomorph getting loose on this island that everyone's on for Prodigy, which I thought we would have gotten to by now, but that's even if we do get to it. The trailers alluded that we would get to that point, or that was going to happen, but we haven't seen it yet. So unless these last 3 episodes are going to be action-packed, I don't see this getting any higher than a 3.5 for me. So with that said, let's wrap up this video. We're going to watch now the 30-second teaser trailer for episode 6, The Fly. Again, drops on September 9th. So let's go ahead and jump over to that right now.
They're experiments to him.
That's what we do. We study.
Like you study us.
Is my sister safe?
Well, we found a glitch.
We've come too far to fail now, because you don't have the stomach to bring this home.
Working out a way to get us out of here.
What if I don't want to go?
Okay, so that was pretty quick. That was only like 27 seconds. So we're going to watch that one more. We're going to rewind that back. We're going to watch that one more time because there was a lot to take in on that.
They're experiments to him.
That's what we do. We study.
Like you study us.
Is my sister safe?
Well, we found a glitch.
We've come too far to fail now, because you don't have the stomach to bring this home.
Working out a way to get us out of here.
What if I don't want to go?
All right, so again, a lot to take in there. So we're obviously back to present day. We did talk about the xenomorph that hatched, which is the one we're seeing here that hatched in episode 4 when Wendy first started talking to it. It spawned from her brother's lung that they replaced that was damaged. And at the time, it looked more like a snake with an alien head. It didn't have legs, didn't have arms. And I had said at the time, I don't recall us ever seeing a xenomorph that wasn't spawned with legs and arms. And I thought maybe it was because it spawned just from the lung, that's why it looked like this. Obviously, that's not the case. We see that same xenomorph, which we assume is the same one. Very small, has legs, has arms. Wendy's trying to talk to it, and apparently it didn't like whatever she was saying because it lunged at her from within the glass, with whatever containment compartment it's in. It lunged at her. But then as this trailer went on, we see it become practically full-grown xenomorph. We saw a few more of the eggs, and there was an alarm system going off. So I imagine that's when we see one of the eggs hatch. And then whoever, which we believe that might have been slightly, you would imagine it has to be slightly leading whatever human he picked to get close enough to the eggs for it to hatch, because Morrow told him that's what he would have to do, because we know the eggs will not hatch around any of the synthetics. And we see the face hugger attack somebody. We can't see exactly who it is. We can't see if it's the brother. There was a brief scene of a few people in raincoats out in the jungle. We don't know what that's going to lead to. That could be maybe one of the face huggers. Maybe there's more than one that gets attached and a xenomorph gets loose, or the fully grown xenomorph gets loose. Either way, someone gets a face hugger put on them. We just don't know if it is in fact the brother, which we believe it should be, because Slightly one has to do that to save his family. Morrow already told him that in episode 4, and we know Slightly doesn't necessarily care for the brother, because we already saw the last interaction with him and the group where he was like, he shouldn't be here, we shouldn't have family here, why does he get to be here? So we already know Slightly at that point had already pretty much chosen Wendy's brother. It's just a matter of what we just saw, is that in fact the brother getting the face hugger on its face, right? So all right, everyone, that's going to do it for this review of Alien Earth Episode 5, titled again, In Space No One. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you've seen it. Let me know what you ranked the episode. Also, what do you rank the series thus far? And as a reminder, Episode 6, The Fly, drops on September 9th, which also then means we only have 3 episodes left. The Fly, Emergence, and The Real Monsters, and the last episode drops on September 23rd. So we only have 3 weeks left of Alien Earth, and no word yet if this is going to be a one and done series or if this is eventually going to turn into a multi-season thing. So no word yet, but I'm sure if they're going to do it, I'd imagine they're going to announce it either right ahead of episode 8 or soon after the series concludes. So again, drop a comment in the comment section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Later.